How can a real estate agent make a shit ton of money? And by the way, if you haven't looked at statistics, most real estate agents make an average of $30,000 a year, which means some of them are working part-time, but a lot of them are working full-time, and making $30,000 a year is just not going to cut it. So why is this happening? And by the way, we used to advise for REMAX. We used to travel to different REMAX offices and teach the brokers and the real estate agents how to cultivate an online following. And, I kind of miss doing that, and I want to get back to that. So, if I was going to start a new business, if I wanted to quit my businesses and I wanted to start a new career as a real estate agent and I didn't know anyone, what would I do? Well, first of all, you need to figure out who your target demographic is. Who are you going to go after? I would personally target the people who invest in real estate. I would start teaching them. I would use TikTok as an example. And by the way, TikTok, I started using TikTok in August of this year, and one of my videos has over 3.2 million views. So can you imagine creating content like videos and getting 3 million views? I mean, that's just retarded. That's just craziness. So that's a lot of power. And if you truly believe, as I do, that influence is a new currency, your net worth is your net work, and you start using these principles to attract clients. How do you attract clients? Well, you start educating them. You start educating them in principles of flipping houses, right? We used to flip 12 houses a month, 87, 88, 89. Then we got into flipping commercial properties. And by the way, flipping houses, we were making back then 30,000 to 80,000 per flip. Then I thought that was kind of slow, and times 12. Then I thought, okay, what if we do commercial flip? And then we started flipping small plazas, and the average there was about 850,000 per flip. And keep in mind, we're using about $50,000 to tie up these properties. And a lot of times we're flipping paper. We're not flipping. We're not paying legal fees. We're not doing all that. We tie up the property with $50,000. Now you have, let's say, 3 weeks conditional on financing or conditional on inspection or conditional on something. Right? So you have 3 weeks to flip that property, and you're using a longer closing, so the people buying the property will use the same closing date, and there's no modifications. So flipping commercial, we were averaging about $850,000 per flip. Then we got into conceptual investing. Conceptual investing, and I'll go deeper into this in other videos, but conceptual investing is basically finding properties that are not in highest best use. In other words, M2 zoning is dirty automotive, and creating an automotive auto world type concept. And here's an example: 7,000 square feet. It had 12 units. The average rents were $2.25. A lot of vacancies, but it was M2 zoned. And back then, M2 was willing to pay, the average rent for M2 was $20 to $22 a square foot. So from $2 to $22, there's your margin, right? Then you use entrepreneur programs for the federal government, which means people buying this property can get front of the line in terms of immigration. Anyways, make a long story short, we tied up the property for 1.2 million, sold it very quickly later for 2.4 million. So that's conceptual investing. So as a real estate agent, I would start creating video content just like I'm creating now, and start educating future potential investors. And another one is rent to own program. When you buy a property and you find tenants who don't have the down payment but have the income, and you charge 20 or 30% more rent, and eventually you find the closing date so they can close the property, and that extra rent is in lieu of down payment. Then when they close the property in 2 or 3 years of paying 20 or 30% more rent, now they own the property. But the beautiful thing about that program is a lot of people don't close. They overestimate their earning capacity and how much money they can put aside, and they don't close. Well, guess what? You get to keep 3 years of 30% extra rent, and you just find another tenant, or you start the contract all over again. It's the way the contract is designed. They obviously have a lawyer look at that, and so on. So they believe they can accomplish it, and some people can't. So I would create content on TikTok and other social media to educate these people. And I think you'll find that very quickly you'll get to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 followers. Like I said, one of my videos has 3.2 million viewers. So if you create content specific to those investors, you'll get a lot of clients. And obviously, they're going to come to you and say, can you find me these properties? Well, of course, right? And that's how you're going to get to, let's say, 500,000 or at least 1 million your first year. We are live every day at 12 noon talking about business strategies like this. So 10X Networking live every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. Join us, ask your questions, and invite your friends to join us as well. And start thinking about what your niche should be, and we'll see you on the live. Take care. Bye.